Okay guys, Alex here, back in my basement. I got a package here from Roman, and inside here is his steel V2. So we're gonna crack that open and check it out. He shipped it to me early for me to do a review, but I came down with a really bad virus and I've been in bed for the last 3 days. So I'm just getting to this now. So I have to apologize firstly on how late I've gotten to this, but there has been a reason why. So the box is rather big compared to all of the other stuff he sent me, and it is fairly heavy. So let's get a knife, which of course I don't have with me over here, and open it up. You'll also have to excuse all the edits and cuts in this video because I'll be editing out most of my coughs. Alright, so now let's open it up. A lot of bubble wrapping in here. A lot of bubble wrapping. So we got, holy cow. Wow. This thing is heavy. This thing is seriously heavy. Wow. There is some serious weight to this sucker. Now that we've actually unboxed it, let's go over to the bench and do a further unboxing. Okay, so here's the D-ring. Let's open this up and see what we got here. Again, I have to apologize for how late I'm doing this. I've had this here for at least a week. A week today. But I couldn't talk. Wow, it's wrapped within, it's a bag within a bag. Okay, now I can feel the, oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Alright, so first thing I've noticed, she's rusty. Yours may not come rusty. Remember I told you I've had this here for a week. It's been sitting in my basement in that box for a week. So the humidity has probably already gotten to it and she started to rust. So there's multiple things I can do to remove this rust. Alright, so we're going to start at the top. So, yeah, oh man. Again, I don't think yours will come rusty. Mine's in my basement. Literally the water is right down the street from me. So this is what it looks like if I leave a piece of steel outside overnight. Because there's just so much moisture and humidity in the air that things will tend to rust. So check out the emitter. Roman opted for only one set screw on the side of the nipple and the emitter. So imagine this holds the nipple in, and then this holds the nipple plug in. The wind vane is very smooth flare. The ring section, you can see in the with the black background, the rings. We got Roman's clamp, and if you notice, the clamp behind the clamp is hollow for sound. You could also, when you do your chassis, put some LEDs in here to blink. The clamp card is translucent. He opted for a translucent clamp card. Roman told me this was an idealized version, and he wanted his to be a little bit different. That's why he went with steel. Roman let me in on this project, the secret, a while ago, and I was like, no, Roman, don't do a steel one. I was like, nah, I want to be different. So another trait of his is he's got a clear clamp card. And moving down, this is his own lever that he's made. And this lever looks much different than the prototype levers that he showed me. It's really nice. Oops, clamp card's moving out of there. Take the clamp card out. Feels like it's vinyl. We all know Roman's clamps. I prefer Roman's clamps over any other replica clamp. And we got the booster here. And his cone knob. Now Roman, this is another thing Roman did to make it his own, is he made the knurling negative. So instead of it being extruding out, all of his knurling goes inward. And at a distance, you can't tell by photo, but up close and in person, you can see that the knurling is inward instead of outwards. This is Roman's interpretation of the mystery chunk, which looks steel to me. I have to test it on my magnet. The pommel, oh, he added the milling circle. I just noticed that now. Let's start taking this apart. Okay, so I'm using two Allen wrenches. I'm using a 0.05 Allen and a 1/16 Allen wrench to take this V2 apart. So let's separate the booster, or the pommel from the booster. Don't lose that. Oh, okay, so the cone knob must have to come out too? Yep. Oh, he's got a double... got a double channel here. Alright, so this is incredibly light. I don't think this is steel. Let me check with my magnet. So the pommel is aluminum. That's why it's not rusty. I kind of like that, because of the way my plan is to go with this V2. Mystery chunk is steel. I just tested it with my magnet. Take a cone knob out. So I thought the booster. So this is kind of like his MK1 setups. Here's the booster. Wow. So now this is... Wow. And then these channels in here line up. See these channels in here? They line up inside the clamp. And this is steel too. So now this comes off. Well, let's use the 160. Oh, well, this is the 0.05. I'll take the nipple apart. Put this on screen. Doing a terrible job of not getting this on screen. The nipple is steel too. Oh, there's the heat sink cup in there that holds the technically, if I wanted to, I could get this emitter to spin. I sure could. Huh. Yes, we could. If we wanted to get this emitter to spin, we could. That's pretty good. So heavy. I'm gonna go over the rings. Pretty wild that the CNC could do this out of steel. They get it that smooth out of steel. The finish is very smooth. There's no machining marks anywhere. The inside, you can tell that it didn't have to be that precise. So you can see the machining marks in there. There's none like that on the outside at all. Even the booster is super, super smooth. Everything is super smooth. But very, very, very nice. Very, very heavy. When Roman let me in on this secret project that he was working on, and he told me he wanted to go steel, I was like, but Roman, V2 is not made out of steel, it's made out of aluminum. He said, yeah, but I want to be different. I want to be a little different than everybody else. So he went with the steel, and he made his own little Roman prop traits here with the reverse knurling on the cone knob, and it being steel. And this is what always amazes me, is how the machinist can line the thread up to where it needs to be. Threading is probably one of the hardest things to do on a machine, and it's pretty crazy how they can do the math and figure out the numbers to get it where it needs to be. Nipple end down tight. This set screw should be in line with this pommel cube, right of the D-ring. You've heard me say that tons of times. Cone knob. Clamp card. Another great product from Roman. So if you're looking for a different kind of V2, Roman's got them in his shop now. He might be doing a run after Christmas, but I wouldn't hesitate and grab one now, because you don't know if things change. But Trooper Trent and I are going to talk and go over stencils, and don't message him. He's getting flooded with messages right now. But the plan is, as of right now, is to do a stencil setup, and I'm going to try and do that over a video call with him. And if not, I'm just going to send him the V2, and he can take all the measurements and make sure they all fit. But there is a stencil in the works, so I'll update in the thread when the stencils are ready. You don't have to message Trent. Trent's overwhelmed with messages right now, so keep an eye out in my thread on the RPF for all updates on this run. Before I close out this video, I'm going to just see if I can remove some of this surface rust simply with some steel wool. So let me clean off this table and get to that. Okay, so I have some quadruple zero steel wool here, and I'm just gonna try and clean off the emitter. And look at that. It's coming right off. Probably be better to do it with some coarser steel wool. Yep. I'm just gonna sit back and clean that up just to show you that it's not a big deal. Okay, so about 5 minutes has gone by with buffing with some quadruple zero steel wool, and you can see how I removed the rust. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it actually kind of polished the steel too compared to the finish. So when it comes to my V2, I have a new chemical from Sculpt Nouveau to try on it. But I think what I'm going to do for a tutorial is gun blue. And use gun blue and buff that down to the right aged color for the booster. The pommel cubes, it being aluminum, we can use aluminum black or A14. I'm going to use A14 because that's what I work with. And then with the stencils, you do the stencils and the paint, and then we have to seal the whole thing with a clear coat, just like how I do all the other V2s. The only problem with it being steel is, well, probably for me because of the humidity, is, and the salt water in the air, is I can't take and leave this very long unfinished. So it would have to be a very fast build because you don't want it to start rusting in the process. I don't think that's going to be a problem for you guys, but like I said, if you know where I live, the ocean is right down the street from me, so our cars are always rusty. The lawn furniture outside is always rusty because there's just salt water in the air. But for me, with the stencils and everything, it has to be done quick. What I'd really like someone to do is put the stencils on and try and use gun blue with that and see if the stencils would hold up to the gun blue. And then when you remove it, it would be gun blue paint chips. I think that would be really cool. The emitter is solid. This thing is beefy. I don't think I'll be able to put dents in this emitter. You're gonna have to put some serious heat to this, and I mean cherry red heat. The jigs I've made to put the dents in, I don't think the aluminum's gonna hold up to the heat of what I have to put to make these dents. I honestly don't think I'm going to attempt to dent this. The one that I have here, Rudy from the RPF, his name is Spirit of Obi. He's got a run where he's doing crystal chambers. So I'm eventually going to FX this, and I'm going to do a Alec Guinness version from A New Hope. So I won't be denting the emitter. I might try and do one big dent because by the time he gets to Vader at the end, before the death scene, there is one dent in the emitter that you can see pretty clear. So I may try that one. I don't know though. But I'm going to be painting mine all black. And since I'm going to be painting mine all black, that's why I'm going to try two-toning this. One side with the new age chemical and the other side with gun blue, to show you guys, to give you guys an option of what you want to go, what route you want to go. So Rudy's run, this is all screwed up, I'm doing this all unorganized. Rudy's run I'll link below if you want a crystal chamber. He's not doing very many of them, but it's basically the same crystal chamber in his Obi-Wan hilts. Yeah, so I just want to thank Roman for letting me in on this little secret of his that he was doing. And I'm very impressed that the finish work of it being steel, I still can't believe how smooth it can be with it being machined out of steel. So I look forward to completing this. Well, I actually look forward to experimenting on it with some chemicals. So, with all that said, I just want to say thanks, Roman. This is going to be a fun project. It's going to be different. This is a different V2, so this is going to be fun. This is Hollow Axe, and the steel is real V2. Out. Okay, so just a little service announcement. This is Roman's Graflex Gen 2. If you're not aware, the Gen 2 is what they used in episode 9. And now it's been 100% proven that it's a fact. So Roman had some left over, and he now has them in his store. So if you're looking for something screen accurate down the road, I'd go grab a Gen 2 while you're at it. So I just wanted to make this little service announcement for those who aren't aware of the discovery. And I also want to congratulate you. Congratulations, Roman. All your hard work's paid off, so good for you, man. I'm happy for you. Power Wax, out.